I do think that I didn't like you enough.
Okay.
I need to like you more.
Okay.
And I think one of the reasons that I'm having a tougher time getting to that place with you is you're still holding on. I can still see the critic. I can still see Malcolm tuning in and making sure you're doing stuff right.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to trust the work. You know, like this whole thing where you were like, I have a lawyer acquaintance downtown. Like there was a moment in there where you said it and it felt very organic and it worked. And then later in that same sentence, I saw you perform it to me.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
I think it's tricky also because your voice projects.
Yeah.
And it does lend itself to performing.
Yeah.
And it may be possible that sometimes you're not even intending to do it and it's just coming off that way just because of the way you talk. But I think that if you don't fix this issue, my concern is that it's gonna lend itself to a performer-like audition and, you know, trusting and keeping it small and organic and easy, having an ease in your work is of utmost importance. Do you know how much your voice projects?
I
Like
forget.
even as you're talking to me.
Yeah. It's easy to forget that.
Now, do you know that when you talk to me that way, it makes the audience on edge?
Makes sense.
Nobody's told you this.
Well, you have.
No, other than me.
Not really. No.
Okay, now just know that when you do this, it makes us go, and you want,
Right.
you need to hook me. You need to make me want to watch you.
Yeah.
I don't want the audience to have to sit and get through your performance because it's invasive when you talk loud. It just is, and it's nothing against you. It's just a performer issue that you have to work on. You got to learn how to pull it back.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to work on it in your real life. You know, practice that way. Having a keen awareness that your voice carries, and it can come off, I'm exaggerating here, but it can be quite piercing. And it actually takes away from your work. I want you to ease up in this thing. You know, I mean, I was watching on the show that I just did, Tony Shalhoub was in the scene with me, and I was just watching to see how small he was. And it was unbelievable. Like there was nothing, the energy you had is great in here and in here, but the external, the mechanism of talking and the body movements and all that stuff, it's gotta be really small. How are you gonna work on that?
Just think about it a lot.
Like, even as you're talking to me now, when you said think about it a lot, it was better. You know, and it's like you almost have to pull back as Malcolm.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, you're not gonna book the jobs you want.
Mm-hmm.
I get concerned that the casting directors, the directors, the producers, they're gonna immediately be turned off because it hurts their ears. So let's try it again and see if you can keep the energy up, but don't be so loud.
Okay.
And I want there to be, you know, when you're performing correctly, the feeling you should have is one of being vulnerable and ease, like you're ice skating. You should have that ease. If I was to say to you, hey Malcolm, when you did the scene, did it feel like you were doing nothing?
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
When you're doing it right, you should say, how can that be right? I wasn't even doing anything.
Right.
But you're not trusting that. And it's almost a compulsion, like to make sure it's coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be a great actor, you're going to have to stop making sure and just take a chance. be willing to fail, and know that it might not come through, and you gotta just accept the fact that it might not come through. Because trying to save the scene by making sure it's there is a guaranteed failure. At least the other way, there's some hope.